So I'd like to talk to primarily the chaplain of this school about our sports virtue program. I'm the chaplain here at Monsignor Donovan High School. I'm probably the most involved chaplain that they've had in a while. And so working with Coach Duddy and the virtue program has really been a pleasure. In general, you know, it's about raising awareness and empowering the students to lead lives of virtue with quotes and scripture, but also example actions so that they can resolve to do something. From a chaplain's point of view, I definitely like working with Dan. He's an asset. He's somebody that if I have agenda, I go to him and I ask him about how can I bring it into, or how can virtue help me bring what I'm looking to do. For example, we had our best really pro-life week. We called it Life is Precious Week, which is the first time we've done anything like that since I've been here. And Dan was definitely instrumental in that. Also, Catholic Schools Week, just involving him in the conversation with that. Here's an example of how to plug into that. Dan and I are going to have a conversation soon about how does Lent color the virtue program. So the virtue program goes through the different seasons, the sports seasons, but how will that interplay with Lent and the virtues of Lent? So I'm hoping we'll emphasize certain virtues during that time. One problem that we're having, and that everybody's having, is just modesty at dances. And so I've been trying to work on that this year, and I'm really looking for Dan and the connection with virtue to help with that. Virtue of modesty, or the virtue of courage to be able to stand up, to be more virtuous during our dances. So I see a lot of possibilities with this program. Definitely, we've started with just the sports program, but I'd like to see it, just continue to expand. In fact, the pastor had brought on Dan to work with the sports. I was thinking of something similar with the religion department before I knew what the pastor was thinking. So I hope for that. Hopefully that'll come down the road. I've also already seen it start expanding because we have a dance club and a dance class. So it's now expanding from sports into more of the arts. I would love to see that. Just these different actions. How does the faculty talk about this stuff in their context? Science, religion, English, history, and so that's what we challenged them to do for the Life is Precious Week.
Catholic schools are about educating our young men and women to understand and embrace their Catholic faith. And what I found Coach Duddy do with his program is to get them excited about their faith and truly wanting to live their faith. It began with the athletes here at Monsignor Donovan High School, and it's expanded to the entire student body. And it's really been exciting for me as principal to see this happen, to see this growth in our student body as they truly come to understand who Jesus Christ is and to embrace that and try to incorporate his teachings into their life.
In today's culture, whether it be the culture of the church or more on a secular side, the culture that our children are living in, I don't think there's ever been a time where such a position is necessary or needed. And I don't think there's ever been a time where such a sector could be so powerful and positively influential in helping to fix the ills that we face, especially our young people face in those cultures. In our church, we know that 2 out of 10 Catholics are going to Mass on Sundays. We know that in our culture and our church, we're being faced constantly by temptation of mediocrity and compromise. We know that our families are crumbling. We know that these young people obviously and fundamentally are the future of our church and our families. And we also know as adults that our families are the fortification of the church, and that we need to fortify our families today as best we can with these traditions that our sports virtue program puts out to our families, but more so We need to speak to the hearts of our students, all of them, and get them to think virtue. Virtue is habit. Get them to see virtue. Get them to know it. Get them to know that they're in a war. That's today's war, is that it's insidious, it's sneaky, and they don't see that the things are crumbling around them, and we need them to step up and acknowledge that. And it's a war that's won simply by effort. And that's all that virtue is practice. And they need to hear the word virtue every single day in our buildings. They need to be honored for it. It needs to be extracted. We need to shed light on it. Because once they walk out that door, and in our case at 220, it's utter chaos and temptation with the things that they face electronically, in all of the mediums that come their way. We need to step up and make sure that we're taking good care of this situation between our four walls, as we say in our locker rooms, from 8 a.m. to 2:20 at Monsignor Donovan High School. The program is in its infant stages, as everything is in regards to eternity. I've been blessed to have this position, put it in God's hands. It's amazing how far that it's come. It's difficult to define it and explain it because it moves so rapidly and forms itself every day. For the first time in my professional life of 32 years, I look forward to tomorrow, and I really don't like when we don't have school. Thanks and God bless. And now I'd like to give you the nuts and bolts of our program.